Good afternoon, YouTube. We're out on a ride today. Got the bike out, and the Stevens Canyon Trail is just down off the side. This is an old road that I'm checking out today. And actually, a road used to come up here. You can see where there's a couple of trees down. But anyway, we're going to go up this way. This goes up through here. It actually clears up a ways. This is a little drainage that goes way up here. I've been to the top, which is a spur off of Charcoal Road. About 3 months ago, I was at the source of this creek here, way up on the hill. There's a spring that just comes out of the side of the hill and runs over that spur road. And then that creek comes down here. So I figured I might try walking up here and just see how far up I can get. Okay, and then the other thing I'm going to try out today, I picked up this fanny pack a while ago, and I've been bringing it along on rides just for such an occasion, because I'll probably be hiking 45 minutes or an hour. And I can just grab this here. I just have it buckled around the saddlebag. And right there, I've got a little fanny pack. I can carry a bottle of water, put some stuff inside there, and head up the hill, and I have my hands free. That's always been the problem I've had on these little hikes off of a bike ride, is if you're carrying a water bottle in one hand, you got your phone in the other hand, and you need to grab something. Okay, so this is just up from where I left the bike. There's a pretty large clearing up here. I think the Open Space District acquired this land in the late 1970s, and this looks pretty similar to what I've seen at other sites where they come in and completely remove any trace of any old buildings, dwellings, whatever, and then they try to restore the land to native habitat. And down below, there's a sign that says habitat restoration in progress or something like that. And you can see all these stakes in the ground. And I imagine at one time they probably had little trees or bushes planted here. I think the deer probably came in because there's just stakes in the ground. There's nothing growing other than the grass. There are a few small bushes coming in, and then these large oak trees. You walk up through this meadow, and then you come to a big pile of rocks. These rocks, they're cut stone. Way to visualize the size of these, they're like railroad ties. They're made out of stone, and some of the stone is actually cut. You know, it's fairly nicely cut stone like this. It's not polished, but it's obviously cut stone, and it's not local stone. It's been hauled in here, and there's just a huge pile of this stuff. This pile of cut stone was taller than I am. There's flat slabs, and there's big, more square shaped chunks. And again, this stuff is maybe 6-8 feet long to 2.5 meters, and piled high. So yeah, anyway, remember these stones. We'll see some of them later. And yeah, like I say, here's the top end of this pile of stones. It goes for a long ways. The creek channel is kind of on the other side of the stone pile. And then some of these are sort of buried in the ground. You know, they've probably been sitting there for a long time. They've got real heavy coat of moss on them, and they've literally sunk into the soil. And then a little farther up, you've got a nice old forest road, just like the GeoCache log entry says. So yeah, really amazing. It's probably been a long time since this road was used. And then one of the log entries says the road's a little bit washed out. Well, it is. There's a section here. This is probably over my head deep. If you jump down to the bottom there, it looks kind of small on camera. I think this was maybe 4 feet across, maybe a little over a meter. And normally you could jump it, but this is on maybe a 35% uphill slope, and it's all mossy and wet, and no way. And then if you go up above there,
there's a gully here. This is where the big washout is, kind of around this corner. And I came up through this way around this tree, and there's a gully coming in here, and then there's also one coming in from the side that kind of meet here. So I imagine when there's a real heavy rain, there's a pretty good torrent of water running through there. Right here, the road's pretty well obliterated, but then just up from that, this is the old road cut. Pretty clean road cut there, the bank. And then just uphill from that, this is the road coming up. This road goes up to the charcoal road, so that's this road right here. And then if you turn around, this road goes up to the other geocache. So this picture, I thought I was shooting a video here, but I guess I just hit the picture button instead of the video button. So I recorded a whole video, but all I got was one frame. So we'll cut back over to live video.
Okay, this is a section of road up on the ridge here. And apparently there used to be a cabin up here, and then the Open Space District purchased this land. Now, this is the old road. Now this road doesn't show up on Google Maps. Let's see, it shows up on the geocaching map and the OSM topo map, and it doesn't show up on the county park map. The main fork shows up, but not this fork. So let's go down here and take a look, see what we find. Okay, here we go, and I'll give you one guess at why this geocache is called Gravestones. There's a whole bunch of old monuments up here. Apparently there used to be a whole bunch. About 6 years ago, the open space folks came in here and took out all the ones that had historical significance. Hard to read that one. Yeah, look at all these. Apparently there was a cabin up here. Somebody that lived up here at one time apparently had some connection with a stone monument company and collected a bunch of old reject gravestones, and apparently some of them were from old cemeteries that were moved or abandoned, whatever, and apparently they took several truckloads out of here. And this is the same rocks that I saw down below. So I don't know, this is maybe part of the cabin? You know, they're not finished rocks, but they've obviously been split. So yeah, look at this whole pile of these rocks, and it was the same thing down below in the channel. Maybe the cabin was built out of stone or something. I imagine they had to haul all of these up that steep road. Wow. Yeah, he was probably stockpiling them down below and then haul them up here. Yeah, see, these are like unfinished. Same rocks down below, right down off of the canyon trail. And then you've got all of this stuff. Look at all that. Wow. Yeah, this had to all have been hauled in here. And it had to be brought in on a small vehicle. I don't know how big that road was, but wow. This is pretty cool. Take a look at the view before I shut the video off here. So that's the view. That's down Stevens Canyon. A nice spot for a cabin up here. This would be a pretty nice little area. So it's kind of a ridge top up here. There's supposedly a little user trail, social trail down the side. I need to look for that.
So in the log entries, there seems to be mention of 2 different trails down from the old cabin site and where the gravestones are down to the canyon road down here. So one of the log entries says there's a trail just a ways to the left of where the gravestones are, and I think this is it. There's some signs of footprints down here and kind of an opening through the trees. Of course, all the fall leaves are covering everything up, so it's kind of hard to see. But this one seems to be headed roughly in the direction of the waypoint that one of the log entries references. So this might be the trail that the one fellow was talking about. But then I went around to the pile of the big cut stones that you saw in the video, and there's a much better defined trail headed down the hill. So I decided to take this one. It just looked like it had been used more, and it's in pretty good shape, and you get down to the bottom and this is what you see. I think I shot some video just up here, so we'll cut back to that.
Yeah, here we're coming down this user trail. So the cabin site and gravestones are up on the top of that ridge, and this thing is seriously steep, digging your heels in all the way down. But it's actually a fairly nice little trail here, and luckily I have the waypoint for the exit down below, and I can watch on Gaia GPS and see that I'm headed in that direction because it's about 4 p.m. and I need to get back down to the bike and then get out of here before sundown. This is just straight down. But I think this is the way to go for down. I don't know if I'd want to come up this thing. It's pretty steep. I think going up the road, because the road is just on the other side of this little stream canyon here. So the road basically goes up there and then along the ridge, and then you come down here and back down to the canyon. So yeah, this is pretty neat up here. So maybe I'll touch base down at the bottom. Okay, YouTube, got back down to the canyon floor here. So that's where I came down from the trail. This is not the location on geocaching log, but it looks like we're just upstream from where I parked my bike. And it looks like there's an old road here of some sort. So I think if I go down here and off to the right, I will get back to my bike, or I'll hit the canyon trail. Let's go see what's down here. Definitely a trail headed up that direction. That's where the exit coordinates that I had on the geocaching log entry are. So there was a couple of places where you kind of had to pick which way to go on the trail, either left or right, and I imagine there's actually a couple of different paths up there. Oh, one thing, if you're thinking of coming down this way, I would do it in the fall after some rain, because there's some spots there that are really steep, and with hard dry clay you wouldn't be able to get a grip up there and you would just be sliding down on your rear end. But luckily the soil is just soft enough now that you can dig your heels in, get some traction anyway. Yeah, I think that's where I came in, right down there. Oh, and there's the canyon trail right there. That's the Stevens Canyon Road beyond the gate. Yeah, there used to be a road coming right up here too. Okay. Oh, and yeah, here's the creek. So this is the creek that starts up at the charcoal road spur up there. So there's a little spring coming out of the side of the hill, and then that water flows all the way down here, down there, and into Stevens Creek. Okay, that was a nice little loop. Oh man, I tell you, the legs are burning after coming down that hill. Oh, that was steep. There's the other access from Canyon Road right there. And then I parked right here. Yeah, so that was about a 1 hour loop.